Hello sports fans, welcome to Super Sports Central. Today we're going to be going over my USFL Championship game prediction. So last week in the semifinals I had a record of 1-1, which brings my overall record on the USFL season, regular season and postseason to 31-11. So this week we only have one game, and that is the USFL Championship game between the 9-1 Birmingham Stallions and 6-4 Philadelphia Stars. So, and just so you guys know, typically we have one live watch party per week. Last week there was two, because there's both very important playoff games. So this week we're going to have a live watch party for the biggest game of the USFL season, the championship game, where you guys will get to see my live reactions and analysis and thoughts, all live as it happens. So that will start 7:20 Eastern Time on Sunday, or about 10 minutes before kickoff of the USFL Championship game. So I hope to see you guys there. Alright, so on to my prediction, and briefly going over how each team got there. So the Stars got to the championship game by upsetting the North Division champion, the Generals. Although they did blow a lead in the game last week before they were able to secure it for the final victory. And the Stallions defeated the Breakers for the third time this season, this time winning by a larger margin, 31-17. So just some quick injury updates. The Stars are going to be without running back Matt Colburn, who suffered a knee injury in the semifinal game against the Generals. Backup running back Paul Terry was out last week, but he will be activated, and he will be active for this game. The Stars also signed former Notre Dame running back Dexter Williams. So he and Paul Terry will most likely share the workload at the running back position. For the Stallions, there's really no big injuries. So comparing each team, the offenses, both offenses are really, really good. The Stars are more of a pass-first offense. They only average about 20 rushing attempts per game, which is the lowest in the USFL. They're a pass-first offense with quarterback Case Cookus, who actually started off the season as the backup, but he stepped up and played extremely well in the absence of quarterback Brian Scott, who was the Week 1 starter, after Scott suffered a season-ending knee injury. The Stars' rushing attack was getting better after it had started off the year really, really bad. But now, running back Matt Colburn, who's their rushing leader, is out, as I mentioned before. So let's see if Paul Terry and Dexter Williams can get the run game going like Matt Colburn had before he left with injury. If the Stars are going to... I feel like the Stars could be going to more of a one-dimensional offense against the Stallions, like strictly pass first. Like, they're still going to run the ball, obviously, but like a lot more pass attempts than rush attempts, as you would obviously expect from the Stars offense. But I would expect a little bit more pass attempts than usual and less rush attempts than normal, because you are without your lead running back. And for the Stallions offensively, they have a great passing attack and rushing attack, although sometimes quarterback Jamar Smith could be inaccurate. The Stallions' run game has greatly improved ever since the midseason addition of Bo Scarborough, who ran for 391 yards in 7 games with the Stallions so far, and that includes the postseason. Stallions also have running back CJ Marable, who has also been very good, but has worked into more of a split with Scarborough after starting off the season as the lead running back because Scarborough was not on the team. Defensively, the Stallions are the much better team. In the regular season, the Stallions were the best allowing the least amount of yards per game, while the Stars will have the most yards per game. Passing defenses, both are in the middle of the pack. Then rushing defenses, the Stallions have the second best, while the Stars are the worst rushing defense. So, when these teams played in the regular season, the Stallions did come out on top, winning 30-17. And my prediction for the game. So if the Stallions, I think the Stallions' rushing attack will decide the game. If they can get the ground game going, I think they're going to have a pretty good chance to win. If the Stars can find a way to shut down the Stallions' ground game, I think the Stars have a good chance to win. I also think the Stallions will be able to run the football because, as I mentioned, the Stars have the league's worst rush defense. So I think the Stallions will be able to effectively run the football. And I do think that will lead to them winning the USFL Championship by a score of 31-26. And don't go anywhere because we still have my MVP prediction. I think both quarterbacks will have pretty good games, but I think the Stallions' defense is the difference, and the Stallions' rushing attack is the difference. So my MVP of the game, and the USFL has announced there will be a USFL Championship game MVP. And my MVP prediction is Stallions outside linebacker DeMarcus Gates. So I think he should have won Defensive Player of the Year. He was a do-it-all. He had like 6.5 sacks, over 60 tackles, an interception, forced fumbles. He did everything for the Stallions. And it's really hard to pick an MVP on the Stallions because they don't have a true star player. It's really a team effort for the Stallions. And before I said that the quarterbacks would have good games, I think exactly that. They're going to have good games. I don't think J.M.R. Smith will have a game good enough to win MVP. The only other Stallion, aside from Gates, I considered was wide receiver Victor Bolden, who had a kick return touchdown last week and is one of the league's top receivers. But I decided to go with DeMarcus Gates because he's going up against an offensive line that's not that great. Although the offensive line play of the Stars has improved as the season has gone along, and that is one of the reasons they've been able to run the ball a little bit more effectively. But I think Gates will end up with at least a sack, maybe even forced fumble or interception. He had an interception last week. But I do think DeMarcus Gates will have a great game, and he will earn himself USFL Championship MVP honors. And I have the Stallions taking home the initial USFL Championship by a score of 31-26. So let me know in the comments who you have winning the USFL Championship and who's going to win MVP. So let me know that in the comments. Make sure to check out the community tab of my channel where you can vote on who you think will win the USFL Championship. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Well, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I hope to see you guys Sunday night at 7:20. I do my best to post as often as possible. So make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you in the next video.